we're super excited to be here in our season 2 with a guest. We have Omar Ochoa, which is the husband of our beautiful Leah Wise, and my cousin. And super excited to have him here because we want to talk about service and community. One big thing is that we're all real givers in the community, donors to our community, time to our community, but you've been doing it for a very long time.
Yes.
And I'd like for you to tell the viewers a little bit today about your service in your community.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate you all having me on, crashing the party. It's always a fun time. I was born into a family of service, right?
That's right, uncle.
Yeah, well, my dad, your uncle, was already on the school board by the time that I was born. And so served on there for 9 years. And then in 1993, ran for mayor of Edinburg.
He was mayor like forever.
Yes, he ended up serving 13 years.
13 years?
As mayor of Edinburg, yeah. And so like literally my entire life, the entire time I was in school, all through college, he was a public servant. And my mom was right alongside with him for all that thing, because it is a family affair. It's not just the person.
I think Leah's learned it's a family affair, like
Yes,
big
definitely.
time.
Just like the Iron Man was a family affair.
Yes,
This
absolutely.
is also
Any intense activity.
freezing our
Right.
embryos was a family affair.
Yeah, no one gets away.
Campaigning is definitely a family affair.
Yeah, and so, being born into that and seeing just how much of an impact Dad had on the community, it was inspiring, right? And so being born and raised in Edinburg, I love the people, I love my family, I love my community. It just made me want to be a public servant as well. So, my first kind of, intro foray into it was in college, actually. I ran for student body president at UT Austin, and I ended up.
And you won.
I did. I won that election, and I was actually the first Latino to serve as student body president at UT Austin. And so that was, just a really great experience. Worked in the legislature for a couple of legislative sessions for Senator Hinojosa. Got to see, how the sausage is made, right? How laws are made up there in Austin. And so, all this kind of exposure into public service and what it means and what you can do, the type of impact you can have on the community, has always just been something in the back of my mind. Being a lawyer, I feel like, is in a lot of ways a public service, right? We are here to help our clients in the lowest times, whether they've been injured, whether they've been arrested, whether they have, building damage and they're not getting the funds they need from their insurance company,
Going through divorce.
All these things, and so that amount of service for the community has always been there too. I had the opportunity when I first moved back to the Rio Grande Valley in 2018 to serve as a city attorney for Edinburg. And I did that for almost 6 years. I'll tell you, I actually went into the job kicking and screaming. It was not something that I was thinking about doing when I first came home. Opened up my law firm, didn't know exactly what kinds of cases I was going to do, trying to find my niche into things. But we ended up, doing pretty well kind of early on.
How did you get chosen to do that? Because that's like a big, there's a lot of people vying for that type of position.
Yeah, I suppose. I mean, like I said, as soon as I came home, I knew I wanted to be involved in my community. So I started going around to community events, started meeting all of the local elected officials. And, given just my background, I went to UT Law, great law school, graduated near the top of my class. I was the editor-in-chief of the Texas Law Review, clerked for federal judges, worked for one of the best law firms in the country. My opinion, at least, pretty good credentials. And so I think it just kind of stood out. And I was asked to serve as city attorney. Turned it down a couple of times before I finally said yes.
Wow.
But it was a job that I actually really enjoyed doing.
And I'm sure it's going to help you now because you know the ins and outs of what Edinburg needs.
Yeah, no. So being the city attorney is a really interesting position. You are literally in the middle of everything. You're advising the city council, you're advising the city manager, working with all of the departments on all the projects. Literally every document that comes through that's legal goes through the city attorney's desk. So being intimately familiar with the details of the city is really one of the reasons why I decided to run for mayor. That's a whole story on its own.
Oh yeah, tell us that.
Yes.
Why did you decide?
Okay, great question. So I'll tell you, when I first got appointed to the position, I thought I was only going to be there for a short term. 6 months, a year at the most. Really just kind of wanting to clean up the department, put it on the right track. Because I could tell very early on that it was a full-time position and it needed somebody kind of full-time. So I was gonna, do the full-time work, get it on track, turn it over. Didn't work out that way. It just became apparent I needed to stick around and be that kind of calming force in the city in a time when it really needed it. And so,
COVID.
yeah, COVID, right? I mean, just a lot of different things happened while I was there as city attorney. But I turned 40, and it just kind of dawned on me that there are other things that I wanted to do. Being the city attorney is a great job, but in some ways was isolating. The only way people trust you, believe in you, is if they see you as not biased, right? As not with one faction over another, someone who's really there for the city. And so I went out of my way to make sure that I was viewed in that regard.
Which means like what? Like what does that mean to the layperson?
Yeah, it means I can't, not attending political events, right? Right, not being associated with certain political movements, right? Because again, you want the city council.
Stay neutral.
Exactly.
Right,
you want the city council to know where your heart is, and it's for the city.
The city.
Right, and not some, political ambition.
So it was 6 years of that lifestyle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And so, it was a great experience, but I was ready to go back to my law firm 100% because I was a full-time city attorney. Put in
Yes, you were.
full-time plus hours while still also trying to run my law firm at the same time.
Wow.
Luckily, I have a great partner that lets me be as crazy as I want on these regards.
I
and
always
is
see her
encouraging.
in the TikToks, him with the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's so
And she's got the
true.
photos, and she's like, and he's still working. And she shows a picture of it.
It's so true. But
true.
but I ended up actually stepping down, and I did it towards the end of last year, thinking I was going to go back to my law firm and get involved in other ways right around the community. Ramiro Garza, the current mayor, who I hold in very high regard,
I love Ramiro.
He's done
him.
so well for the
Yes,
city.
he has.
Was diagnosed with cancer. And so our thoughts and prayers are with him. He's, going through his recovery. Everything's going really well. We wish him the best, obviously.
Yes.
But when he announced he wasn't going to run for mayor, I started getting calls. People asking me if I would consider doing it. And my initial response to that was, no. That was not
Kicking and screaming, no.
That was not something that was really on my mind at all. It was not on my radar to want to run for mayor of Edinburg.
What did your dad say?
Great question. He was actually the second person that I asked for advice, the first being Leah. Dad obviously lived it, right? And I lived it alongside with him. And so very sober advice, right? If you're going to do it, it's got to be 100%, right? You got to be completely focused. And this meant the world to me coming from him because of how much I respect him. He said, you would be the best candidate for it. Yeah, and so that was great, right? To have his, stamp of approval, right? That I could do the job. And so, from there, Leah and I just kind of started talking about it. And it just dawned on me, having been with the city for so long, knowing everything about it, all the details, I am ready to do this. And I know I'm the best person for this job. I know what I can do with the city.
Your heart is in the right place.
Yes, thank you. I've got young energy, right? I am ready to move the city forward in a positive direction, change the attitude of the city in a way that is inspiring for everybody and builds a community that we all deserve to
We
live
have
in.
so much potential in Edinburgh.
Exactly.
So much. And Ramiro has done an amazing job. But you are the perfect person. When Ramiro came to me and told me he was going to hire me for his re-election, before I said yes to him, I called Leah. I don't know why. In my mind, I was like, is Omar going to run? Because if you were going to run, then I didn't want to help Ramiro, even though I love Ramiro, right? And she's like, no. I was like, okay, then I said yes to Ramiro, and we went through the whole process. Even a week before he got diagnosed, we sat down, we went through what we were going to do. And a week later, he called me and was like, I'm diagnosed, right? This is what's going on, Magda. I wanted to let you know first. And then you announced. So I'm like, okay, good. Because
You always predict the future.
I don't know. I'm like Walter Mercado. I
But she called me and she was like, hey, is Omar running for mayor? I was like, what? Why would you think that? Like, no. And then,
Yeah. And then
Lo and
don't know.
behold.
Because you would be the best person to take this position.
Thank you.
You really would.
Like I said, it wasn't.
Obviously, we're endorsing you.
Well, I appreciate that. I'll say, for me, it wasn't obvious. It took a mental process to get there. But once it just became so clear that I know what I can do. I know I can do a great job with it. If I didn't run, it was because I was being selfish. in picking my law firm and my private life,
yeah.
over that. And when it got fine-tuned to those decisions, it wasn't even a decision anymore. It was obvious that this is something
had to be done.
that we needed to do. So we announced we were going to do it, and we've been going 100 miles
What
an hour.
did Leah say?
Ever
Since
since
she was
then.
the first
Oh my
person that you
God!
asked.
Yes. So
question.
I know, because I mean, your partner, your spouse has to be behind you 100%, and if not, for anybody that's thinking
Right.
about running for politics, if your spouse is not 100% in it with you, do not do it.
Yeah.
It is not worth it. I swear. And so for me, that was my attitude. Leah needed to be supportive of it. But lo and behold, not only was she supportive, she was encouraging, right? She wanted me to do it. She knew that this would be something that would be great for the community. And so, yeah, she was 100% on. She was ready for me to do it before I was ready to do it.
That's true. I was like, why do you keep thinking about it? Just do it. Like, come on, announce. Let's do this. Yeah.
I'm surprised you kept the secret so long.
Well, it wasn't even that long.
It felt
No,
like
because from when Ramiro announced his cancer diagnosis to Omar announcing what it was like a week and a half, 2 weeks.
No, actually, it was from a
Less.
Wednesday to a Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because I was
That
getting phone calls
fast.
asking if you were gonna run, and then I remember calling Leah, and Leah was like, "Okay, he's gonna announce Sunday." Well, I didn't tell anybody because that was in my
Yeah.
my show. But I was like, "Okay." I slept good that night.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
literally decided that day, right, that we were going to do it.
and so for voters, you have to be in Edinburgh to vote for you.
Yes, absolutely. You have to live in Edinburgh and obviously be a registered voter in the city of Edinburgh in order to engage. Yeah.
Yeah. It was.
So I can't vote because I'm from McAllen?
Yeah, you're in McAllen.
Yeah, if you live in McAllen, you can't vote in Edinburgh. But if you got friends and family,
I do, yeah.
You can
Yes.
endorse and push your friends. And
Yeah.
I have like 186 cousins on my mom's side, right? and like 40 of them live in Edinburgh.
awesome.
186 cousins. Wow. And that's not even Omar's family.
No, that's
right?
not Omar's family.
And if any of our viewers have a get together or want to get to know Omar, let us know and we'll put something together.
We should air this one like soon, so that it can
Yeah.
go out there before
Because
when is the
Thank you
election?
all. It's in November. November 5th is the election day. Early vote starts October 20th. So
5 months.
it might seem like it's a while, but it's going to be
No,
It's gonna go by
really
so
fast.
fast.
I mean,
And
we're
I-
almost halfway through the year, guys.
Exactly. Yeah, I can't believe it.
Again, yeah.
I can't
Crazy.
believe that.
And we are we're literally out there every day. We go to a ton of events. We host our own events.
Do you want to
We're out there.
let them know when your next campaign events will be?
Yeah, actually, so we just had one this past Wednesday that went really well. Hosted at the Dog Stadium there in Edinburgh off of Chapin and Klausner. Edgar, the owner there, is a really good friend, and they just do a wonderful job. So if you haven't tried Dog Stadium, you really need to.
So good. Yes.
Right? It was phenomenal food. But yeah, we are, in the phase of the campaign where we are trying to go out to events that are already out there.
Okay.
Once we get kind of closer to the election, we're going to be hosting a lot more events. But definitely, stay tuned. Really easy to find on social media. Our website is voteochoa.com. There's a supporter sign up there where if you give us your information, we'll keep you updated on what's coming up.
Awesome.
If you have family in Edinburgh, invite us to the carne asada.
Yes.
Please. So that we can talk.
Yeah.
So we can talk.
Yeah, and my
I
goal is to
agree.
talk to as many voters as possible in Edinburgh because I want to hear what their hopes and dreams are, right? This is the time for all of us to think and dream big. And like I said, I know I have the energy, the know-how, and the experience to bring these big ideas to fruition.
I'm excited.
Let's
Thank
go.
Like Magda was saying, Edinburgh has so much potential. We have the university. We now have the football stadium. We have amazing hospital systems. We have so much room for growth. And we need a young, fresh face. Obviously, I'm biased. To move Edinburgh forward. Somebody who I don't think anybody knows the city as intimately as you do because you were city attorney for 6 years. Like you literally worked with every department. You
All
know
the
what I mean?
laws.
So, tell us about your platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So, great question, Leah. Thank you so much. For me, infrastructure investments are critical. We're a growing city. When my dad first ran for mayor in 1993, it was around 30,000 people. Now we're over 100, right? So it's been really, really fast growth. But what that means is the city needs to keep up with infrastructure investments, widening roads, repaving
Like the
roads.
water problems.
Exactly, yeah. Fixing sewer systems, extending services to areas that have been annexed in the past, but those services haven't been extended out to them. Doing these things is not only a public service and a public good, but it's going to attract more investment into the city.
It is,
And the more investment that we get, the higher our tax base goes, and even more projects the city can do. Like I said, product of the Edinburg School District, born and raised in Edinburg. Just given my background, I had the opportunity to go to other places, but I always wanted to come home.
Yeah.
And my goal, my dream, my sincere hope is that we have more of our youth staying in Edinburg. Right?
I love that.
Coming back to the valley. Go get your
Yes.
education, work experience somewhere
Yes.
else, but come back,
Come back.
right? And give back
Yeah.
to the community, because this is how we are going to transform
Yes.
the Rio Grande Valley, by keeping our best and brightest students here.
Here.
And we need to increase our pay because
Exactly.
we're
Yes.
so different in the valley from other places.
Yeah, we need to attract those high paid jobs.
Right.
And like I said, that's what the infrastructure investments are all about.
Cool. Very cool. So, personally, how has this what? Personally, how has the campaign affected you?
Great question. I really enjoy this.
Yeah, you do.
Like I said, I had been isolated for a while, right, serving as city attorney, and now, like, I literally go to all the city events,
Yeah.
talking to tons of people. I love it. I love talking to people about what it is that they want from the city. And so, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a pep in my step again, getting out there, right, and talking to everybody. I'll also say I have taken more pictures in the last 2 months than I have in the last 10 years.
Oh my
Right?
gosh. Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's been a lot of fun seeing old friends, reconnecting with people, being out there in the community. It's really given me a new charge.
And you're good at that. Like
Yeah.
you love
Yeah.
that kind of communication.
I do. I really enjoy talking to people.
I can tell you enjoy it because I'm an extrovert. I love being around people. But even I get tired at these events and like always like being like the social battery, but I feel like you don't get tired.
Yeah.
You don't get tired ever.
No, I don't actually. It's very motivating. Really? Yeah, no. And it's like Leah has to remind me to eat or to drink water or whatever, right? Because I'm just so focused and engaged. But Leah knows that's always been my personality. Whether I'm running a law firm or being city attorney or training for an Ironman, I am always all in. And so that is my goal as mayor too, is to be completely hands-on, guiding the city, every department in the projects that they have.
Well, as an Edinburg resident, I'm excited for
Thank you.
to take
Thank you, Margo.
the wheel. What you're gonna take the wheel?
Appreciate that. We're working hard to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us. I think it's really important to talk about how important it is to vote,
Yes.
how important elections are, civic engagement, registering to vote. Like, it's just so important. And if anybody has questions about how to register to vote or anything like that, y'all can reach out to Omar's campaign. We'll put the website
Yes,
to
we'll
his,
put all the information
to his.
on here.
We'll put the website on the podcast.
Yes.
So that y'all can find more information about the campaign. But we are excited to move Edinburg forward.
Thank you. Speaking of.
Okay. Speaking of.
So Move Edinburg Forward is, kind of the tagline we're using, but it's not just a catchphrase, it's a mindset, right? It's what
Yes.
we want to do. We don't want to go backwards. We don't want to slip into what
Forward.
we've been before. We want to move forward into a new era in Edinburg. So as an homage to my dad, because I don't know if anybody remembers this, but when Dad was mayor, he had a nice chant, Viva Edinburg. He would say Viva, the crowd would yell back Edinburg. He would say Edinburg, and the crowd would yell back Viva. We put a little kind of spin on that, right?
Okay, everybody, y'all have to do it with us.
honoring the past
Nate,
while
Joanna.
looking forward to the future. So what we do is I will yell Edinburg, you all will yell forward, and then I will yell forward, and you all will yell Edinburg.
I like it.
Yeah.
That's so cute.
You want to give this a shot?
Okay,
Let's go.
Yeah? All right,
let's do it.
Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Edinburg! Forward! Forward! Edinburg! Thank you, guys.
Even the OG team got in on that. Yeah. Well,
Y'all are the best.
Thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments, and we'll see you on the next episode. Bye.